Shalom, giving all honor and praise to the Most High, the Son, Yahweh Shah. Y'all, the Battle Axes of the Most High come to you on another Wednesday class. Get edified in the Most High God's name. The name of the class tonight is called The Power of the Tongue. You know how the Most High God works, man. And He expects all of us in this truth to make sure that we got our mind accord, on one accord with Him. Whether you be keyboard Israelite, brothers on the streets, Facebook Israelites. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things in the last days. But one of the things that the Most High God said we have to work on is our mouths, man. Because a lot of time in Israel, we write a check, our butts just can't carry. First precept we go into tonight is Isaiah chapter 50 verse 4. Let's read.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 50, verse 4. The Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned.
Read that again.
The Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned.
He said, the Lord God hath given us the tongue of the learned. This is going to the people that understand the truth, the people that sound with the Most High, that's keeping His laws, statutes, and commandments, man. We don't.
That I should know how to speak a word in season.
See, we said to know how to speak a word in season, man. Read.
To him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning.
He wakeneth my ear morning by morning. Read.
He wakeneth my ear to hear as to learn.
So how do you think that we can be able, that's how brothers can be able to discern between things. Brothers can be able to hear these things. They give us a tongue to learn how we can speak to people in due season, man. Even you just think about how a fool will talk. When a fool will talk, guess what? He talk out of season. Guess what? It's gonna be rejected. Matter of fact, let's go get a precept on it. Let's go to Sirach chapter 20 and verse 2. Sirach chapter 20 verse 2. Sirach 20 verse 20.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 20.
Read.
A wise sentence shall be rejected when it coming out of a fool's mouth.
Read.
For he will not speak it in due season.
Because guess what? That's how a fool will talk. Just think of how people. Guess what? Even you see somebody that's playful all the time, ain't really in tune with the Bible. He turn around and give you some words of wisdom, and you don't take his wisdom. You don't take the words of wisdom. Why? Because you ain't used to him giving it. That's why it's always rejected. Brothers and sisters expect it, especially the ones that's in here, that's been here for a while. You should already know Ecclesiastes chapter 3 tell us when our seasons are. They give us all the seasons. That means going through all the emotions, all the attributes that we go through as a nation of people. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 9 give us all the attributes of how we supposed to deal. It said to every purpose is a season. That's how Ecclesiastes chapter 3 start off, man. This is something that we must get in our mindset, especially concerning our God and concerning our nation, on how we supposed to talk, how we supposed to act, how we supposed to perform these laws, statutes, and commandments according to the Most High God's will and not our own will. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 15. 23. I already know what I want.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 23. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season.
And a word spoken in due season, read.
How good is it?
It's how good is it? But the same word spoken outside of season, guess what, man? It be rejected, which we just read in Sirach chapter 20, verse 20. It's like two sides of the spectrum. If a person talking outside the season, if it's a wise, guess what, man? A lot of times people like, well, I told you. Yeah, but you told the thing out of season. You can't go into the house of mourning, laughing, and giving wise thing, and giving something wise. It's gonna be rejected. You can't go into the house of laughter and start mourning. Guess what? People They like, man, this dude just a miserable person, man. Misery love company. They don't want to hear it.
And the thing about that is, to understand and know what season it is, you got to be listening. You got to be listening to know what season it is. Everybody not looking at the weather chart. You got to be listening to what people are saying, so you won't say something out of line. My daddy just died. Man, I just got back from Six Flags. What? Yeah, you listen to that dude, and then you claim that you finna prophesy. No. Take that. Don't prophesy yet. God let me when you're in the right seat.
And that's how. That's exactly right. That's how a wise sense. That's how something be protected.
Yeah.
Guess what? If we'd have picked a better time, guess what? Y'all probably would have had a 30 and 45 minute conversation talking about Six Flags.
Exactly.
But here it is. He told you that his father died. Now you still who just bring up some Six Flags. That'd be some tough stuff, baby.
It's crazy. That's how people be doing. We don't like to listen to each other, man. They listen to everything every nation got to tell us. But when we come to listen to us, we can't hear nothing we got to say. And I don't know. And this is part of the curses, man. But y'all been in the truth and walking this path according to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Everybody in this room shouldn't be like that. Right?
Let's go to James chapter 3. Start from the top, man. I'll break this whole chapter down. We can get through it today.
It's the book of James, chapter 3 from the top. My brother, be not many masters, knowing, my brother, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Condemnation. He said, brother, be not many masters, man. What does that mean? Let's go to Matthew chapter 23, verse 8. He said, my brother, be not many masters. Give us all this meaning, man. Go break it down. The spirit of the Most High, man. Read it up.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 8. But be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master.
For one is your master, read.
Even Christ. And all ye are brethren.
And all of us is brethren. So it said, the scripture tells us in James, don't be many master. Now the scripture right here, what Christ said, he said, be not called rabbi, for it is one is your master. So we're going to have to really kind of dig into what this thing really is going into, man. Let's go to Luke chapter 6 and verse 38.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 38. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together,
Read.
and running over, shall men give into your bosom.
To me, it's how when you give, that's how you give it back. That's the same thing you give it back. You give it back, man. Read on.
For the same measure, but with the same measure that ye meet, with all, it shall be measured to you again.
That goes into the. If you jump up, if we had jumped up to verse 37, it'll still told us, judge not, least you be judged. This is what this going into, man. Read on.
Verse 39. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind?
He said, can the blind lead the blind? Read.
Shall they not both fall into the ditch?
So he said, this is going into how the brother, hey, he ain't in tune with it. Guess what? That blind person gonna lead another blind into the ditch, man. When you ain't in tune with God's law, statutes, and commandments. When you not following the order of the Bible. You know.
The disciple is not above his master.
He said, read that again, huh?
The disciple is not above his master.
We got to understand that that's for us being God's disciples, man. We're not above our master, man. We know we should know how the pecking order goes. According to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. It's the Most High God, it's Christ and this man. Then it's woman, then it's child. That's how it goes. We don't.
But everyone that is perfect shall be as should be as his master.
So guess what? But when you walk in with these laws, statutes, and commandments, we can be as our master, not our master, though. We can be as our master. That means walk upright and perfect in the Most High God, being on one accord with the Most High God and with Christ. But still got to answer the question. It said, be not many masters. Let's go to John chapter 13. We can be as a master, and mean walking perfectly in these laws, statutes, and commandments, but we can't be the head. We can't be the head Negro in charge or the head Israelite in charge. We already got a head Israelite in charge, man.
That's not master.
13 and verse 12. Right?
This is the book of St. John, chapter 13 and verse 12. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done to you?
So this is Christ after he got finished washing the disciples' feet, man. He said, you know what I just done for y'all? Read.
Ye call me master and Lord.
He said, you call him master and Lord. Read on.
And ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master,
he said, if we then, your Lord and master, read,
have washed your feet,
read on.
ye also ought to wash one another's feet.
So he's saying, guess what? If I did that, and I'm the Lord and master, wash your feet, you ought to do the same thing, man. So you ought to do the same thing. But if we not walking according to how our master walk, that's why you making many masters when you're not walking how the master walk. Read.
Verse 15. For I have given you an example.
He said he giving us an example on how a master's supposed to walk, man. How we walk as a master. We don't.
That ye should do as I have done to you.
He said that we should do as he has done to us. Making our bodies a living sacrifice. Brothers being built up, ready to teach this word in season and out of season, man. Bringing thus said the Lord, whether the brother have to bring judgment, whether the brother have to bring correction, whether the brother have to build a brother up, whether the brother have to break the strongholds out the brother. Whether the brother got to go and guess what? And help wash your brother's feet. Literally. To help brothers, guess what, man? If brothers have to be down, if brothers have to go to their house, and brothers can't get around the house that well, that's what all brothers in here should be taking time going over to help them brothers out, man. Each and every one of us, man. This is our job, man, as a mission to be a servant to Israel, man.
And a servant to each other, yes.
We don't.
Verse 16. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord.
He said the servant ain't greater than his Lord, man. If he had to do it, you got to do it too, man. Read on.
Neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him.
So guess what? And he said neither he that got sent, which he was the one that got sent, he ain't greater than the one that sent him. He's not greater than the Most High. He think it, according to Philippians chapter 2 verse 7, he said, for me to think that I'm equal with the Most High, that's robbery. He's not going to rob the Most High of his glory. And we shouldn't rob the Most High or Christ of their glory either.
Because the Trinity.
Exactly. Right. You know,
verse 17. If you know these things, happy are ye if you do them.
He said, if you know these things, if you know this, you should be happy when you're doing these, man, doing this stuff, man. We don't.
Verse 18. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen.
He said, I ain't speaking about everybody. But the Most High God know who we chose, man. Read.
But that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me have lifted up his heel against me.
Because everybody that eat bread, guess what? Everybody eat bread with Christ, guess what? Some of these people are the same people that's going to be, going against him too.
Kiss on the cheek.
That's it. Deceitful like Judas, man. He said these things have to be fulfilled, though, man. Read on.
Now, I tell you before it comes.
He said, but I'm going to tell you this before you come. That's why you think we be in a congregation like brothers can't discern spirits, man. If he's giving us fair warning right here, guess what? He just told us some of these people gonna be eating bread amongst us, man. And they're gonna be straight up deceitful, man. These things gonna come. Read.
That when it comes to pass,
he said, when these things come to pass, read.
You may believe that I am he.
He said, then you can believe that I am him.
And we believe.
We believe it.
We believe it.
Hey,
It came to pass, and hey, we believe it.
it's good to say what they say, man. Say what they say. We don't.
Verily, verily, I say unto you,
Read.
he that receiveth whomsoever I send, receiveth me.
He said, whosoever, this is how we supposed to be, man. If the Most High God is send these people, guess what? We supposed to be receiving them, man, in this walk, man.
And not to master over them, but to be as a servant to them.
Exactly.
Right? How can we help you? You know what I'm saying? How can I help you, man? What problem you got?
Right, man.
And let me see if I can do something. Maybe I got a truck to help you out. Maybe I got this to help you out. That's all. And man, if we did that as a nation of people, imagine what they had before that world. I promise you, there'd be a military around every black Negro neighborhood. Y'all think, shoot, I promise you, martial law will go out tomorrow. We start treating each other like this. Oh no, we got to stop this. No, we can't let these Negroes be good to each other. Y'all niggas stop having fun. But that's what it is. When you start helping your sisters out, when you start helping your brothers out, that should be fun to you. It should be good for you. The spirit should be growing. I feel good. Yeah, my brother's office, he is back in the right place. Serving to each other, man.
That's it. And that's how this is how we get out. This is how you lay up your treasure for the kingdom of heaven. Like Matthew chapter 6 tell us, where a man's treasure is, where his heart, that's where the heart will be. So if you laying up your treasure for the kingdom of heaven, guess what? That's where your heart will be. But if you laying up all your treasures in the bank and you ain't worried about the kingdom of heaven, that's where your heart will be. This is something that we must think about, man. Read verse 20.
Verse 20 from the top. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomsoever I send, receiveth me.
Read.
And he that receiveth me, receiveth him that sent me.
It's telling you you don't want to go with Christ in the Most High. Let's go back to James, man. Verse 1, man. Verse 1.
It's the book of James, chapter 3 from the top. My brother, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Why you'll see receive the greater condemnation? Let's go to Sirach chapter 3. And Sirach chapter 3, verse 23.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 3, and verse 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters.
Read.
For more things are shewed unto thee than men understand.
It's telling us don't be curious in unnecessary matters, man. There's so much things that can be showed. It showed to us. You just think about in the spiritual side how we miss. Let's think about the physical side how you miss. If you was a person that ain't never worked on a farm, when you ride by a field, you just rode by the field. But if that person worked on a farm, guess what? That person looked at that field. Dang, they laid them rows pretty good. Dang, I see how they corn is growing up pretty fast. The last time I rode past it, that corn had just a little bitty bud. But you ain't never worked on a farm. You'll never know. You'll never even think about none of those things, man. Think about all these things that is shown to us that we don't even realize. Just like if you take a person that works in construction, just like Maccabee, they build buildings, man, bridges and stuff. When he ride by bridges, imagine how his mind think about how that bridge look, how that soundproof wall look, and you looking like, damn, what is a soundproof wall? Right. But to him, he know exactly what he's talking about because he done did this stuff, man. It's more things that's shown to us than we realize that we see. This thing's been going around all around us, and we don't even realize this, man. We don't know.
Verse 24. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion.
Read.
And an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment.
And the evil suspicion will overthrow your judgment, man. Read on.
Verse 25. Without eyes, thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not.
And so that's how you go into these condemnations, man. Professing knowledge that you don't even have. And it's saying, like, when you blind, guess what? You're going to be wanting light. That means you're going to be wanting to see. People don't understand even the correlation how. If you're a person that ain't never been around a blind person, I don't know if brothers and sisters ever dealt with a blind person. When you walk with a blind person, his hip got to touch your hip. So when you make a move to the left and your hip come up off his hip, he gonna put his hip back on your hip. So he gonna go the direction you going. When you put his plate on, when you put his food on the plate, guess what? You got to put his food in a certain order so he can use his fork because he knows how his food is arranged. Meat go on the left side, vegetables go at the top, bread go at the bottom. He know the range of his order on how you do their food. This is how things see. When people don't have understanding of these things, you will never even think about none of these things, man. But a lot of times, people, when you look at their things, guess what? If you don't do the study on things, if you ain't been through these things, that's what these unnecessary matters get people all in trouble because they step over a boundary that they don't even understand. Because people lean to their own understanding. But when we go to the scriptures and you don't follow this thing according to the scriptures, brothers and sisters go into a greater damnation. That's how people run their mouth, people talk, people get themselves in trouble, and they don't even realize that they doing it. They really don't realize that they really get themselves in trouble with the Most High for overstepping their boundaries, man. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 1. No brothers, sisters, brothers. I know brothers on that street. Y'all ain't got this highlighted in your Bible, man. You probably ain't got no Bible, man. 5:1. Sound a little different when you read it in class.
Right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God.
So when 2 or 3 is gathered at his name, guess what? You in the house of God. So we got to consider when we talking to somebody, the Most High God right there in the midst of this thing. Whatever decision you make, whatever thing that you say out of your mouth, it's going to be held accountable for right then and there. Because a lot of people talk, a lot of people open their mouth sometimes to say things they ought not to be saying, man. Read.
And be more ready to hear.
Yeah, but be more ready to hear, read.
Than to give the sacrifice of food.
Than to give a sacrifice of food. Read on.
For they consider not that they do evil.
They don't even consider that they don't even think that they do it. They don't even consider that they doing evil. They don't even know that they really doing evil. But the whole time, that's what they straight doing evil like the mother, man. They straight doing evil, man. Let's get another precept on this food, man. Proverbs 17-28. Let's get something on this, man. This is how Most High look at it. When you think about how Most High look at a food, and guess what? If you can finally get a food to stop running their mouth so much, this is what the Most High think about the food.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 28. Mm-hmm. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise.
Let's read that again.
Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise.
He say even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise, man. Why? Because guess what? You'll never know you're a fool because he'll open his mouth and show you that you're a fool. Right. That's how you counted wise, man. Read on.
And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding.
Because guess what? You got to understand first, then rebuke. Let's go back to James, man, chapter 3.
Let's go to Job 6 and 24.
Job 6 and 24. This is the book of Job, chapter 6 and verse 24. Teach me, and I will hold my tongue.
It says, teach me, and I will hold my tongue. I'll be quiet. When a person want to get taught, they'll shut up. And they'll listen. Because when you really want to know something, you know, man, no, let me listen to everything going on. That's why you got the college, everybody graduate, not because they're in that classroom running their mouth. They're in the classroom listening and writing. Getting information. Go ahead.
Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred.
He said, and cause, see, holding your tongue and listening, that's what you get the understanding from. Not running your mouth and talking over the word and all this stuff. Wherein I have erred. And that's where you get the understanding and knowing where you made your mistakes, right? So now you can correct them. But sometimes people try to tell you something, you talking when they talking, and now when soon to come and say stuff like you ain't got nothing out of it, and you ain't learned nothing. And you still in error. Go ahead.
Verse 25.
Oh, yeah, 25.
Verse 25. forcible, slacking. How forcible are right words. But what do your arguing prove?
And they argue, boy, what are your argument prove? What are your argument correct? You just throwing out, you ain't listening to nothing. Just argue. And that's why, man, sometimes when you see debates and they just argue, nobody get edified. Because if you really ready to argue or debate about something, your mind should be like, maybe he's going to show me something I don't know. And his mind should be, maybe he should show me something I don't know. So when we go to the scriptures, we should come up with a common agreement. So I mean, one of us got to be wrong. Maybe both of us probably be wrong once we get to the scripture. But we got to listen. That's all I got.
Keep going on here. Let's go back to James chapter 3, verse 2.
This is the book of James, chapter 3, and verse 2. For in many things we offend all.
He said, but because guess what? When you try to make yourself many masters, being all in unnecessary matters you all doing, don't know how to keep your mouth closed. Guess what, man? It said, for many things we offend all. Read.
If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man.
But guess what? When you don't offend in word, you're a perfect man. You one that's walking as a master, man. As the master. Read on.
And able also to bridle the whole body.
That's a person that control their spirit, man, and control their flesh. That means the spirit got more control over the situation than the flesh does, man. Let's go get some on that, man. It said there, he said, for in many things we offend all, man. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18, verse 3.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 3. It said, verily, I say unto you,
Read.
Except ye be converted.
Except we change, read.
And become as little children. Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So he's telling us unless we be converted, unless we change the ways that we think, the way that we do, we can't enter into the kingdom of heaven, man. You know how hard it is to offend a little child. Yeah, you might whoop his butt right then, man, and he might be upset for a few seconds. But when you tell him, come on in and get something to eat, guess what? He's going to suck that lip up and go and sit at the table and eat whatever's on the table for him, man. We don't.
Verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
But he's telling us that we know we can humble ourselves down there. Guess what? We can be one of the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, man. Let's imagine a person so humble to the point, man, you can't bother them, man. No matter, this is how Christ walked, man. This is how Christ walked, man. He didn't open his mouth to offend no dang on body, man. Christ did the work of the Lord, man. He did the work of him that sent him, man. And when they tried to give Christ to try to stumble, what Christ did? He kneeled down and started writing in the dirt. We got to understand on how this walk goes, man. When he expecting us to walk like that, the Most High God is really expecting us to do these things, man. We don't know.
Verse 5. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name.
So guess what? After you get converted, but then he said, who shall receive one of these little children in his name? Read.
Receive it me.
Receive it, Christ, man. Read.
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones.
But if you offend one of these little ones, man, read.
Which believe in me.
Which believe in the Most High in Christ, man. Read.
It were better for him that a millstone would hang about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
Man, that's pretty tough, man. It's pretty tough. That means, guess what? As the vengeance that's going to come out, guess what Christ said? He's going to be the one that tread the wine press on you, man. He's the one that's going to bring the charge to you. Most High God going to send them things down on you, man. Read.
Verse 7. Woe unto the world because of the offenses.
He said, woe unto the world because of these offenses, man. These things that come, man. Read.
Or it must need be the offenses come.
But he said, guess what? In the same time, these offenses must come. Why? Because it's prophesied 2/3 of our people are going to go to the lake of fire, man. So these fences must come, man, because there's a lot of people that rejected the Most High. There's a lot of people that rejected Christ, man. There's a lot of people that reject the law, statutes, and commandments, period, man. A lot of people reject these things, man.
Read. But woe to the man by whom the offense is coming.
But guess what? It ain't, just think about, guess what? You the one that got offended. But guess what? Matthew, the person, what's going to happen to the person that committed the offense? It's pretty tough, man. It's something that we have to deal with, man. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 36.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak,
Read.
they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment.
He said, every idle word that you speak, you got to get held accountable for, man. Whether you murmuring, backbiting, whether you talking down on brothers and sisters, whether guess what? Whether you talking about some carnal stuff that you shouldn't be talking about, every idle word, you got to pay for these things, man. That's why we got to make sure that we trying to make our election sure, man. Trying to hide whatever we can try to do to hide a multitude of sins, because we on a day-to-day basis, like what Paul said, he died daily. Why he died daily? Because he know, guess what? Paul said, though I be rude in speech and not in knowledge, that was for real. He was a rude talking person. Paul was definitely a rude talking person, like he said in Corinthians, when he said, don't think that I won't come see you. That's a person that was rude in speech. That's why he know he had to die daily. Because every idle word that people say, we got to be held accountable for these things, man. I think the Most High God, I think when he said this thing, he gave Christ the order to tell us these things. You think this thing don't come to pass?
Read. Verse 37. For by words thou shalt be justified. And by the words thou shalt be condemned.
He said, by your words you're going to be justified, and by your words you're going to be condemned. Hey, man, these people say what they say, man. Hey, wherever they lay at, that's where they going to go, man. Let's go back to James, chapter 3, verse 3.
I get something on that. Let me get that Psalm, chapter 12 and verse 3.
Book of Psalms, chapter 12 and verse 3. The Lord shall cut off the flattering lips.
Oh, hold on, read that again.
The book of Psalms, chapter 12 and verse 3. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said, with our tongue we will prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us?
See, if I say that's what a lot of times our tongue and God became the Lord over us, man. Not the knowledge of the Most High. What we got to say, get a piece of my mind. I'm gonna get this Negro a piece of my mind. Come back without your mind, because the nigga blows your brains out. But we got to get out of that, man, and come back to these laws, man. Come back to God Himself, man. Quit thinking about what we got to say. Most High said, man, I'm gonna cut off all the pride. When we did this, well, Most High, man, humble yourself, man. I think just love trying to brag on what we do. I did this. Who cares, man? If I'm sitting in that kingdom, man, I don't want to hear all that running your mouth, man. Shut up. Let the Most High speak, man. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Salaki. For the oppression of the poor, for the sign of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that putteth puppet Salaki at him.
That puppet at him. See, when you humble, see that mouth, the mother people doing, see, Most High cover you. But when you run in your mouth and they run in your mouth, you ain't got no cover. Y'all just finna, whatever comes out of that nasty conversation. It's the only result. That's your result. But see, when you humble, somebody coming and talking about you, got to run in their mouth and all that, you just humble down. Most High said, I got that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll see that brother next week and that mother be like, man, how your tongue get tired of the mouth? I woke up this morning.
You woke up like this.
Go ahead, that's all I got there.
Go back to Psalms, man.
Psalms of James.
It's like James.
It's the book of James, chapter 3, and verse 3. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us.
He said he put bits in the horse's mouth that they may obey us, man. Read.
And we turn about their whole body.
And he said you turn back the whole body, man. Let's go get some understanding. Like, some people should have this written in their Bible, but that precept do line up with it. You got to watch some of these precepts that's written in your Bible. They don't go with everything.
Exactly, yeah. Focus the Bible on some of this stuff, man.
Psalm chapter 32, start at verse 8.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 32, and verse 8. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go.
Read.
I will guide thee with my eye.
So this is the same way how you say you put bits in the horse's mouth and you guide the horse. It's the same thing how both sides say he's going to put his words in our mouth to guide us. Read.
Be ye not as the horse.
See, but he said, be ye not as the horse. Watch this, though.
Or as the mule, which have no understanding.
Or a mule that don't have no understanding, man. Read.
Whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee.
Read.
Many sorrows shall be to the wicked.
And many sorrows shall be to these wicked, man. Read on.
But he that trusteth in the Lord, mercy shall compass about him.
That's why he's telling us to not be like the horse. Because guess what? Like a mule that don't have no understanding. What happened to a stubborn mule? Anybody watch Western? What happened to a stubborn mule? You get your butt kicked for being a stubborn mule, man. Or guess what? If that mule ain't no good, guess what? You gotta take that mule to the wood and go ahead and shoot him down. That's what the Lord said, don't be like the mule or the stubborn, like the stubborn mule. Or what did you got to put this, put this bridle on. No, don't be like it. This to give us a better understanding on how the Lord say, look, I want to guide you. Don't act like you don't understand now when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I want to guide you.
Don't be like the horse. You don't need that on you.
Right.
I don't need a rope around your neck like the little white kids who run around the mall like that with their little leashes on. We don't need that. We don't need that. That's what he said. Don't be like the horse now. I'm gonna guide you. You don't need a goddamn rope in there. You don't need nobody patting you up. Hey, you did great. Hey, brother, you did on everything you do. No, I'm gonna guide you, but don't be like the horse. But sometimes the horse, even when you guide him, especially an ass, when you guide an ass, I got him on the rope, got him in the thing, and I can pull him. That song gonna just stop. I mean, stops and pull back on him. Don't be like that. That's what he's saying. Don't be like that. Just take the guidance.
That's it, man. Just take the dang on guidance. Let's go back, man, to James, chapter 3, verse 4.
Book of James, chapter 3, and verse 4. Behold also the ships,
Read.
which though they be so great,
Read.
and are driven of fierce winds,
Read.
yet are they turned about with a very small helm.
So now you seeing how big the ship goes. You got this big old long, what you call it? Thing to catch the wind. What you call it? Sail. Big old tall sail. You got that little bitty helm in the bottom that control it. Read on.
Whithersoever the governor listen.
So whatever the pilot or the person that controls it, whichever way he turn it, it's gonna go, man. Read on.
Even so, the tongue is a little member.
Now he's getting it told. He said, even so, it's the tongue. The same way how that little bitty helm control the whole boat, the same way how that little tongue control your whole body. Yes. Read.
And boasteth great things.
And it boasted great things, man. Read.
Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindled.
Yeah, great amount of little fire kindled. Let's go get something about this tongue, man. Let's go to Sirach chapter 5. Verse 13, man. We know how the tongue is, man. Hey, our tongue is a fool, man. Our tongue is wild.
Yeah, I better pray for that tongue.
We have to pray.
Pray for that tongue.
Read it up.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 13. Honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his foul.
It said honor and shame is in a man's talk, man. But the tongue is that man's foul, man. Just think about how before people go to war, a lot of times, you know, Esau, they sit at the table. They in all these different meetings. Why did they go to war? Because somebody said something over here. He opened his mouth to say something, now they at war. He opened his mouth to say something, now they at war. How this happen? It's come through people's mouths. The Lord, guess what? When the Lord make war, the Lord spoke these things to make war. When the Most High God created the earth, guess what? He spoke those things, man. That's showing you how powerful our tongue is. If we made as the likeness of him, how much more you think our tongue is than the power that he give our tongue? We made as the likeness of him. Why you think in Deuteronomy chapter 4, and it started telling us that the law, statutes, and commandments is our wisdom? Guess what? That's our wisdom in sight of the nation, because the Most High God spoke these things for us to happen. So all these nations can come to us for wisdom, for understanding. Even in our captivity, what they got to use us. They use us to write everything down that they need us to work. Guess what? You can't get this bridge high enough for these boats. Send a Jake over there. He gonna make that bridge high enough for 10 boats to get up under there, man. Esau frame of thinking is not like ours, man. Only thing they think is about, like I said, their blessings is the sword. They can make some bombs now. They can make some guns. They can make ammo. That was their blessing to make war.
Wicked and evil things that they do. They you know, that's why when you look at their history, like what have they contributed to the world? That's good for the world. Besides bomb, gun, sword, chemical warfare, chemicals that Most High got all the science that he needs. But not the white man. Now I gotta do better than that. Go mix something that don't go together. Create something. GMO, wicked devices. That's what I mean.
And that's how it go. You just think about it. You take all the seeds you take all the fruit out of the store with seeds in it and put fruits in the store that ain't got seeds in it. That's some of the dumbest stuff you ever seen in your life. You got a watermelon with no seeds in it, man. Who the hell would do a watermelon without no seeds in it?
And then if you get seeds, you can't even sell them no more. You gotta go. They make you buy your seeds nowadays. So if you get some seeds from them, keep them and put them up, man. It's gonna get to a point where they ain't finna let you grow nothing like that.
That's true. Read on verse 14 now.
Verse 14. Be not called a whisperer.
Read that again now.
Be not called a whisperer.
We are commanded not to be called a whisperer, man. That's why we tell brothers and sisters, man, whatever happened in our house, stays in our house, man. We call no whisperer, man. Everything that you hear, guess what you running to go tell, man. Busybody, busy Benaniyah. Busy Rico, too. We got some busy talking guys in here, too. It ain't just women, guys, too. We don't know.
Be not a whisperer, and lie not and wait with thy tongue.
They say lie not and wait with thy tongue, man. Yeah, you just sitting around a group of people waiting to get all the information you need, so you go run tell somebody else, man. You can't be like, hey, guess what? You get the greater condemnation behind it too. Hey, it is what it is, man. Read on.
For a foul shame is upon the thief.
He said, now look, it's telling us. Now this is going into a thief. He said, a foul shame is on a thief. Watch this. Read on.
And an evil condemnation upon the double tongue.
And he says, an evil condemnation on the double tongue, man. Read on.
Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small.
So don't be ignorant in these things. He said, I don't care how small this matter is or how great these matters is. Guess what, man? People, brothers and sisters, need to learn how to hold their peace. Guess what? Oh, it just was a little white lie. No, it wasn't no little white lie. It was a lie. It was a lie. Well, I I just told it. I didn't really think it mattered. Yeah, it mattered. Said don't be ignorant of the small or the great. But you think people ain't lying, wait to try to find out what's going on. Guess what? You'll see a person that you think be your friend. They'll sit around and hear all your business, but then it's time for them to tell their business, they ain't gonna say nothing. But I guarantee you, guess what? All the business that they got from you, somebody else gonna know their business, gonna know the same thing that they know. Because they lying and wait with their tongue. Oh, that happened. Oh, for real? Okay, that happened too? Come on, man. We cannot be ignorant, man, of the small or great matters, man. Scripture tell us that, man. Let's go to Sirach chapter 37, verse 18.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 18. Four manner of things appear.
He said these things are four manner of things that appear, man. But this is concerning the heart, man. Read that out.
Good and evil.
He said these things, good and evil, read.
Life and death.
Life and death, read.
But the tongue ruleth over them continually.
So, but the tongue ruleth over all these things continually. Whichever side you want to pick, that tongue controls it, man. That's why we can't be ignorant of a great or small matter or a great matter, man. Read verse 18 again. Huh?
Verse 18. Four manner of things appear, good and evil.
It said good and evil, read.
Life and death.
Life and death, read.
But the tongue ruleth over them continually.
Because whatever you speak out of your mouth, it's either going to give you good or evil, or that's why your tongue will either give you life or give you death. Right? Why you think he said the kingdom of heaven is within you? Whatever proceeds out of your mouth, guess what? That's the thing that condemns us, man. What it say, kid? I know kids love that scripture, boy, Matthew. It's not just what you put into your belly. It's supposed to come out, man. It's the things that come out, man. That gets us in trouble, man. A lot of times when we in this walk, we got to consider these things, man. Let's go back to James chapter 3, verse 6.
Yeah, verse 6.
Trying to find that one scripture that was saying, what is that? Life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Go ahead.
This is the book of James, chapter 3, and verse 6. And the tongue is a fire.
He said a tongue is a what up?
And the tongue is a fire.
Tongue is a fire, man. Read.
A world of iniquity.
He said the tongue can be a world of iniquity, man. Read on.
So is the tongue among our members.
So is the tongue among our body. Well, guess what? When it goes to the members, guess what? It's among the congregation, man. Read.
That it defileth the whole body.
Guess what? That same tongue, guess what, man, can defile the whole congregation. Read on.
And setteth on fire the course of nature.
Read.
And it is and it is set on fire of hell.
And the tongue gets set on fire of hell, man. Let's go get someone on this. Let's go to Sirach chapter 8, man. Verse 3.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 8, and verse 3. Strive not with a man that is full of tongue.
He said, don't strive with a man that's full of tongue, man. Don't strive with a man that's full of tongue, man. Read.
And heap not wood upon his fire.
And don't heap the wood on his fire, man. That's something that he expected to man. Look, hey, when we read these scriptures, man, I'm like Maccabees. How do these scriptures make you feel, man? When you read things like that, when you read things in the case when the Bible's talking, when they talk like this, man, how do these scriptures make you feel? Read verse 3 again.
Sirach chapter 8 and verse 3 from the top. Strive not with a man that is full of tongues.
He says, don't strive with a man that's full of tongues, man. Read.
And heap not wood upon his fire.
Don't heap wood on his fire. Especially he hot-headed, don't know how to calm down. Though he got a bad mouth, he gonna say any and everything. Don't put no wood on his fire, man. Let him make it, man. Because guess what? The Most High God gonna be the one that heap the coals on his head, man, according to Romans chapter 12, man. We gotta let the Most High God do it, because some people, man, they ain't got no understanding about nothing. They understanding on how to do things is this big. Because he just full of his tongue control everything. And his tongue is gonna write a check that he can't cash.
Right. Yeah, and that's like a lot of times, man. If you sit up there, and that's why when I'm on the street, you know, I listen to people for a little while, for a second. When I hear that they put that garbage, I shut them down. That's why I shut it down. Because what you finna do? You ain't finna do nothing but break out lying words to our people. And first of all, if you got a question, I want to hear what you're saying. But when I hear that bull crap, man, cut that off. No. Because the tongue will defile your mind, man. A tongue will make you start thinking about stuff that against this Bible. That's what people do. When they scoff and when people want income against this word, what do? Run their mouth. When you trying to bring the word out, what do? They get loud. I'm just want to, because they want to put the tongue in there. That tongue to deceive everybody. That's what it's for. Like I said, man, even when people talking to you, man, I walk out from people sometimes. I'm trying to stop them and tell them I'm finna leave, but if they don't, I just walk off and leave. Man. I'm not finna hear this. They be looking at me like, he just walked off. Yeah, I did. First of all, you wasn't shutting up, and you talking about nothing. So, what am I doing? You ain't finna defile my head. Go ahead.
Let's go get some more. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16, verse 27.
Proverbs 16:27. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16, and verse 27. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is a burning fire.
That's the same thing when Mac B breaking down, man. That's what ungodly men do, man. Man or woman. We got to understand, man. That's how men crept in underwear, pervert whole household. Leading away silly women laden with iniquity. Lead away a silly woman laden with iniquity, man.
That mouth is on.
Can't control that mouth. Guess what? Get led straight away. People don't understand how these scriptures really, whatever it said, a two-edged sword, that means, guess what? They go for the teacher and for the listener that's listening, this kind of learning.
And you got itchy ears, man. You got itchy ears. And that mouth open up to somebody else, man, you quick to catch on. You quick to being deceived. Because you already ready to hear something different anyway. Now stick with the basic. Let's stick with this. Learn this and you ain't got to worry about that. Then you'll defeat like, man, shut up. Because you'll see that you can deceive to this bullcrap. But see, when you got the itching ears, ooh, I need to know something. I want to know something more than him. No. Just learn what the Most High got now for you. That's all.
Verse 28, y'all.
It's like this book of Proverbs, chapter 16, and verse 28. A forward man soweth strife, and a whisper separated chief friends.
He did it again.
A forward man soweth strife.
He said a forward man gonna sow strife, man, amongst brothers, man. Read.
And a whisper spreaded chief friends.
And a whisper
separated chief friends.
That means separated good friends. A person that always got something that's want to talk over here, then want to talk over there, and want to talk over here. That's how you separate good friends, man. What you think that's gonna happen to you when the Most High God come to visit you and you doing those things, man?
The thing about it, man, you can't tell me that the Most High do not know us as a people.
Real, man.
But this is black folks, man. This is some black folks stuff right here, man. Love to be talking about everybody. Hold on.
No, that's all tribes.
All 12 tribes. You're right. That's something. But yeah, look, we love to say something, and we love to come back over here. Then when they break off their friendship, we sit back and like we ain't had nothing to do with it. When you was the main cause, whispering in the back. Go out and play both sides. Our people was wicked, man, and Most High just let you know. Man, I'm showing y'all been like this, man. I know y'all
been like this. Been like this. He just showing us how we are, man. Let's go back to James, man.
6, verse 7. Look at James chapter 3 and verse 7. Where every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and have been tamed of mankind.
Because we know these things because this is what the Most High God gave us dominion over in Genesis. He gave us dominion over all the fowls of the air, all the animals that walk the planet, and the ones in the sea. We got dominion over these things, man. We can tame all these things, man, according to how the scripture says we can do.
And man, it's changing all that. I mean, they tame that. They can tame what you call it, an orca whale, killer whale,
everything.
White shark. I mean, what it was, a great white shark. They can tame all that.
Yeah.
But listen to that next one, man.
Read on now.
But the tongue can no man tame.
He said, but the tongue can't no man tame. Y'all better ask. You better ask when they put Peter them in jail, and they try to shut their mouth from teaching. They kept on teaching in the inside of the jail. What happened? All the doors swung open. Guess what? When the guard was sitting there, he was so scared with it to the point he like,
Kill himself.
He was finna kill himself. We thought everybody was gone. They ain't going nowhere. He's like, nah, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We right here. Just let you know you can't stop our mouth.
And that's another thing. That shows you the power of the tongue. See, when you speak in the Most High God word, man, imagine the power you got behind that. When you speak of wickedness, there's power behind that.
That's right.
Like he said, you can choose life on a person, you can speak death on a person, just with your tongue. I know we done said something out of hatred, mad sometimes. Man, I hope they don't crash the car. Then they come right back. Man, I crashed that car. I died. That happened to me before. And I still to this day don't know how it happened.
So this is precept, man.
Yeah. But that tongue, man, you gotta watch it.
Let's go to Rock chapter 17. In verse 6. Start at verse 5. Okay. Get Benaniyah. Verse 5. We're going to read down to 6.
I got you.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 17 and verse 5. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord.
So the Lord give us 5 operations, man. Read.
And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding.
So, but in the 6th place, he imparted these 5 operations and understanding, man. Read.
And in the 7th, speech.
In the 7th, he give us what's a speech, man. Read on.
And interpreter.
And interpret. It's going in interpretation. Read on.
Of the cognations, like it. Of the cognations thereof. Is that cognation?
Cogitation.
Cogitations. It's like it. And interpreter of the cogitations thereof.
Read.
Verse 6. Counsel and a tongue.
Now it's going into, it said first, counsel. This is what the Most High God expecting us. When we want to seek understanding, when we want to get wisdom from the Most High, he putting it in order on how these things go. He said he 5 operations, then he gave us 6 for understandings, and he gave us 7. Then he gave us Shalaki. He gave us 6 for understanding, and he gave us 7 for speeches. But now he's putting this thing in order. He said counsel. He said and a tongue. Read.
And eyes.
And eyes.
Ears.
And ears.
And a heart.
And heart. Those are the 5 operations, man. Read on.
Gave he them to understand.
And he gave all of us them for us to understand, man. On how he worked and his will for us. Read on.
With all, he filled them with the knowledge.
With all these things, he filled them with the knowledge, man. Read.
Of understanding.
Of understanding. Read.
And shewed them good and evil.
That's how we can be able to discern between the good and evil. But all the 5 operations the Most High gave us, we can turn around and discern between the good and evil. So if their tongue is out, guess what? We should know. Guess what? When I'm about to speak something, we should know how to hold our tongue back. We supposed to know like they say, know when to hold them and know when to fold them, man. We supposed to know these things, man, in our walk. But when we don't know these things, guess what? We can fall into the condemnation. Jump over to 19 and 6,
Book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 6. He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife.
He said, he that can rule his tongue can live without strife. Man, read.
And he that hateth babbling shall have less evil.
So it's telling us how we're supposed to be. When you hate to hear all that babbling, then you're gonna have less evil in your life. But when you one of these people, according to Acts chapter 17, matter of fact, go get that.
That's another thing. That's why, man, I told you to get this first. I said it.
17 and verse 21.
Acts 17. Book of Acts chapter 17 and verse 21. For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing.
Because this is Israel. We just want to tell or we want to hear something new all the time, man. This is how we walk. This is how we walk our walk, man. What they say? So busy, man. So busy.
Yeah, that's why one of the reasons is that's why a lot of people on social media. The truth right here in the Bible, but now they gotta wait. I want to hear something new. I gotta get some new information. Ain't nothing but some old information. Everything you think is new is old. I already done tried it before. That's why I got off of Facebook, because I got tired of hearing the babbling going on.
Here come. Let's go over to Sirach 20 in verse 1, man.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 1. There is a reproof that is not comely.
There's a reproof that's not comely, man. Read.
Again, some man holding his tongue, and he is wise.
So guess what, man? It's reproof sometimes. It's not comely. There's some things that you don't want to hear. But you still got to hold your tongue at these things, man. Just because you don't want to hear it, guess what? It's still a reproof that's not coming to you. Guess what? You just got to take it. You just got to take it. No matter how you feel, you just got to take it. It is what it is. I just got to take it. Jump down to verse 6,
Verse 6. Some man holding his tongue because he have not to answer.
Some man hold his tongue because he ain't got nothing to answer. We read.
And some keep silence, knowing his time.
But some people keep it silence because they know the time. They see what's going on in the situation. And some people, they can't hold their peace. They just got to say something, man. What they say, man, look at it. Hold it, man. It's not going to burst you, man. Some people keep silent because guess what? They know the time. They see what it is, man. Now, I see this dude right here. If you see a dude that you can argue back and forth with this dude all night long, y'all playing cards, you can argue back and forth with this dude all night long. And he gets mad, he pull a gun. You still finna argue with this man? You better act like you know the dang on time. You better know some time then. Or guess what? You're going to have a lot of time to be going to sleep.
Yes, sir. That'll be yes, sir, in a minute.
Yeah.
You ain't no but yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's it.
You put that gun out, you better know when to change it.
Better know when to change some of them things, man. Verse 7, now.
Verse 7. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity.
He said a wise man gonna hold his tongue until he see an opportunity. Read.
But a babbler and a fool will regard no time.
That's what in a babbler, a fool ain't gonna never regard no time. Because why they don't regard no time? And like I say, you gonna have a lot of time sitting up in their grave. Guess what? Hey, it is what it is, man. People better get you. Hey, these scriptures say what they say. You better get some wisdom behind that thing, man. You better get some wisdom, or hey, you'll be another one that's biting the dust, man.
That's why I say it. Sometimes, man, hey, turn away babbling people that got uttering their mouth to you all the time. Man, I don't want to hear that. Especially they got something to say about somebody else. Don't talk to them about it. That's simple. Just tell them, man, don't talk to them about it. But I didn't want to say, they're in an excuse about it. And then you just walk off. Something to hear that. We got to get to the point where we don't want to listen to the bull crap too. We got to get to that point where we can restrain from listening to this evil communication. Go ahead.
Thanks. Matter of fact, let's go to Sirach chapter 28. You know, we've heard that stone saying, you ever heard that scripture saying, sticks and stones shall break my bones, but words never hurt me. We're going to see if the scripture, guess what? We're going to go to the scripture and see if that's a lie. Sirach chapter 28, verse 17, man.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 28, and verse 17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh.
You already know how they did Kunta, Toby, all them, man. Told they butt up. 12 years of slavery, man. Tearing them up, man. All our ancestors. Guess what? Mama told you don't go outside, making marks in the flesh. Daddy told you, hey, shut your mouth, marks in the flesh, man. Breathe.
But the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bone.
I guess they said sticks and stones shall break my bone. Words never hurt you. But Most High God said he break these words and break your bones, man.
And see, that's what, and you can see this kingdom is set up opposite of the I mean, 100% opposite. Sticks and stones break my bones. The word will never happen. They been tearing us up with words too, boy.
So they use that.
Nigga. That's all they, that right there. That's all they need.
That's it.
Talking about that, and then, but they tell us, hey, that ain't gonna hurt you.
That's it.
Hey, cool, that ain't gonna hurt you. That's killing us. It's got us behind 20, 30, 100 years.
That's it. Verse 18,
Verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword.
He said, many have fallen by the edge of the sword. Read on.
But not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
But not so many. Guess what? The tongue kill more than the sword, man. It's letting us know the tongue will kill more than the sword. That's why it's best for brothers and sisters when we dealing to hold their peace, man. Guess what? When the captain's giving counsel, guess what, man? You think we giving counsel for nothing? You think brothers don't? Guess what? The same way that a person seeing on this side, you think we don't see what that person sees? You think we ain't knowing what that person trying to do? We knowing just the same way you pulling, the same way we looking at somebody pushing. That thing go two in the same. We can't have a house full of sheep and the Most High God say feed the sheep and the shepherds don't know what the sheep do. We know what almost every sheep in here do. Do we say something to every sheep? No. We're gonna let you fall by whatever you falling by because you choose to do things you want to do. Thinking that we don't know. Thinking that, look, like words don't hurt, words affect everything. The things that we say, the things that we say out of our mouth affects everything that we think about in our life. It affects everything that we think that we do on a day-to-day. You can go to work, and guess what? A lot of people get fired. It ain't because he done ran over some stuff. It's because something you said out of your mouth and something they said out of their mouth. That's how people get fired. From talking. It ain't because something that you did. They love the way you work. They just don't love your mouth. Let's go back to James, chapter 3, verse 9.
This book of James, chapter 3, verse 9. Therewith, bless we God.
He said, therewith, that's what bless we God. Read.
Even the Father, and therewith, curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God.
Because guess what? It said, like wherewith blessed we God. When we walking in the spirit of the Most High, guess what? We're going to be blessed. But when we walking in the flesh like a man, walking cornerly, that's how curses come about, man. When we not on one accord with the Most High, man. He expecting us, the way he governed our life to be, we have to walk ye in it. And when we don't walk ye in it, that's how curses come about. That's how reproofs come about. That's how correction come about. When we not on one accord with him, man. We don't.
Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and curses.
Out of the same mouth gonna proceed blessings and curses, man. We don't.
My brother, these things ought not so to be.
He said, my brother, guess what? These things ought not so to be. We shouldn't want to be getting the curses put on us. We shouldn't be want to go kick against the pricks of the Most High, man. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. We shouldn't be want to kick against the pricks of the Most High. Let's go get what this is talking about, man. Read that when you get there.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Read that again.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
The Most High God tells us that death and life is in the power of the tongue, man. This is something that we need to be thinking about, man. A person that, just like you said, a person can't hold their peace. Man, y'all playing card, talk crap all night long with each other. He pull out a gun, and you still can't shut your mouth.
I've seen quite a few. Quite a few deaths happen just like that. But they can pull out a gun, and he's still cussing them out. Just done got it to where he ain't doing no butt shoes. What's his name was hard though. You remember I used to call him that? He dead though.
Yeah, he got his hard. Yeah, his body hard in the mud, hard in his coat. He gonna turn back to ash, turn back to dust. His body's real hard and cold. But if he would have only kept his mouth, he would have only kept his tongue. Guess what? If he'd have known the season that he was in, guess what? That situation would have never came about. But sometimes brothers and sisters get caught up in not knowing the season, and this is what happens. That's why, man, we got to make sure that we at all costs, we must make sure that we holding our peace, man. And when we can't learn to hold our peace, guess what, man? Life and death is in the power of the tongue, man. We don't know.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And they that love it, they that love it, they that got the understanding, you should love the fruit. When you can speak life, you should love the fruit that come about of those things. That you can speak a word and do season to a brother and sister that's weird. That you can be able to talk to a brother to give him understanding what the Most High God, how the Most High God feel about us as a nation. That's love. That's love coming out of your mouth. But when you doing on the other side of the thing, gossiping, murmuring, complaining, backbiting, you doing all these things right here get us caught up in the depth side. That's Jeremiah 8:3.
I was just saying, look, that's what I had. Right there.
Well, they say death is chosen rather than life.
Death is chosen, and death shall be chosen rather than life. By all the residue of them that remain of this evil family.
That's it, man. That's what it goes into. Go back to James, man. This
is the book of James, chapter 3, and verse 11. Though they fountain send forth at the same place, sweet water and bitter.
He said, can a fountain pour out sweet water and bitter water at the same time? It can't happen, man. Either that fountain gonna be all the way sweet or it's gonna be all the way bitter, man. Well, it just got a little oil in that water. It's just a little oil in that water. That's why it tastes like this. Nobody want no oil in somebody's water to drink it. No, that water is gonna be nasty. But guess what? The Lord use a tree to make the water sweet. That's a sugarcane tree. Use it to make the water sweet. That's why we use that sugar, put it in that Kool-Aid, man. Hey, it is what it is. Nobody want no bitter Kool-Aid, do it, man. Like, this Kool-Aid got no sugar in it.
Oh boy, you're going to meet at my house. Boy, I don't know what they do. They just cook it out in the water and stir it up.
They ain't make Kool-Aid. No, I'm telling you what they do. They put fruits and all kinds of stuff in their Kool-Aid. They got all kinds of stuff. They like, dang, Kool-Aid got fruits and all kinds of shit.
With a bitter taste to it.
With a bitter taste. Well, now this right here, verse 12 is going to how. This is a cut to the brothers and sisters. And make sure you write this down beside the grafting. Verse 12 is going straight into the grafting. This is a cut. We always grafted in. Well, let's see what the scriptures say about grafting in. Verse 12.
Can the fig tree, my brother, bear olive berries?
Can a fig tree bear olive berries, man?
Either a vine.
Or can it bring forth a vine, man? Read.
Figs. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh water?
A fountain of water, both can't. They can't. Either gonna be salty or it's gonna be fresh, man. Yeah, but if it's a vine tree, that's whatever come out of vine tree. If it's grape, that's what it's coming out, man. If it's a fig tree, that's what fig's gonna come out, man. That's just what it is, man.
Can't graft in nothing off for something else. That ain't
an apple and an orange tree. You gonna grab an apple and orange tree? Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen.
That what the wind gonna blow, just gonna fall in, make that branch fall out the tree. That's all it's gonna hit. It's gonna be on the ground.
And he showed us all the separation through the whole scripture. He don't even want the salt water messing with the fresh water. You go to the lake, go down to Houston right there. I don't know if y'all go down there. Man, they got that water. It's right there, man. You can see the line straight down there. They will not come together. They will not come together. That's what you got stuff that comes out of the ocean who can adapt to fresh water. Other than that, we don't deal with them over there. They them freshwater ass gates over there. You know what I'm saying? That's how that shit. Now we salt water.
Salt water over here.
He separate all that, man. What you make y'all think that he don't separate us from them? We ain't getting grafted in with nobody else. I don't want to be a lemon that tastes like an orange.
Read on up.
Verse 13. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you?
He said, now who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you, man? Read on.
Let him shoot out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
So let's go get some of this, man. Go to Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 5, man. Proverbs is a rock working today, man.
Those other books of wisdom, y'all do know that, huh? Proverbs and Sirach.
Read it out.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning.
He said, a wise man will hear and increase learning, man. Read.
And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel.
Read that again, man.
And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel.
And he said, and the man of understanding going to attain to wise counsel. You're going to hearken into wise counsel, man. This is how the scripture tells us. This is a wise man. He going to hear. He going to increase his learning. And a man of understanding going. He said, this man going to obtain. He going to take the counsel. This is how we supposed to. This is how we learn in a day-to-day. Guess what? I didn't know how to put a starter in. I knew how to put a starter in. I got the part. I tell him I'm trying to talk all about what the people said at the store. And he said, no, I'm going to show you how to do it. But what the people at the store, he said, boy, just shut your mouth. I got you. Some people can't shut their mouth. Guess what they going to do? They're going to keep talking. He'll mess around, put the starter on for me. And I still ain't learned how to do it. What good was that? Then when if the starter go out again, I be going right over there trying to get some more understanding. He be like, no, you wouldn't shut your mouth the last time I was trying to show you.
Right.
We got to start, man. This is how counsel goes, man. When people trying to show you how this thing goes, this is our job to make sure that we are listening to these things so we can be able to get it, man. Let's go see what Christ say, man. Matthew chapter 7, verse 24.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine,
read on,
and doeth them.
No, you got to read this slowly, man. Because people really, you need to, man, this is the king talking, man. He said, whosoever hear these sayings and doeth them, read that again.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them.
He said, you can't just hear it, you got to do it too. You can't just hear the sayings, you got to do it. You got to walk in it. Read.
I will liken him unto a wise man.
These are the wise men that the Bible is telling us that we're supposed to be. The one that listens to counsel, the one that obtaining wisdom. They listen to it, they increase their learning, and they do those things. That's the key thing, is doing it. Guess what? If you got a knowledge and you don't apply that knowledge, you don't have knowledge. You just got words in your mind. Applied knowledge is better than knowledge that's not applied. Every day, all day, man. You just got something. It's useless.
Damn it.
You know, I would liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock.
Which built his house upon a rock, man. Just he said, I'm gonna like this wise man which built his house on a rock, man. Read.
And the rain descended.
And the rain came down, man. Read.
And the floods came.
And the floods came, and read.
And the winds blew.
It blew, read on.
And beat upon that house.
And
it fell not.
And it did what?
And it fell not.
So when you are a wise man and you obtain the understanding, taking good counsel, and you keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments, and you doing these things, guess what? When everything else falling around you and things being said all around you, guess what? You won't fall into that. But the ones that's being taken by that thing, guess what? You can tell the ones being taken as the same ones that's over there talking, as the same one that's over there that's want to lead. They being taken by it because guess what? They rock wasn't they wisdom wasn't wasn't on the rock. Their wisdom was on, guess what? On shaky ground.
Yeah. That foundation has to and must be Yahweh and his law, statutes, and commandments. This is the foundation of our nation, man. This is us. Without that, man, we'd have nothing. Ain't nothing. Man, you got on nice tennis shoes, but if you lift up your foot, you ain't got no soul on the bottom. Foundation terrible. Soon as touch the slightest rock. Shoes look good on top, though. Shoes look great. Look like some nice little Jordans. Without a soul on a foundation on what good are they?
We don't know.
Verse 26. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not.
So when you hear these sayings and don't do it, read.
Shall be likened unto a foolish man.
These are the foolish ones, man. Read.
Which built his house upon the sand.
They ain't built it on the rock, they built it on the sand. This is shaky. They don't have a foundation. You can see when the foundation is shaky, you'll be taken by anything in this walk, man. That's why the Bible tells us to be ye steadfast, unmovable in this truth, man. Can't see it, man. Read up.
And the rain descended.
And the rain, guess what? When the rain came down, when things started to happen, guess what? The rain came down, read.
And floods came.
And when the floods came, guess what? Read.
And the winds blew.
Read on, up.
And beat upon that house.
Read.
And it fell.
What did it do, up?
And it fell.
And that house fell. Fell with anything that came about. That's how a person get tossed with any wind of doctrine. Anything come out, man. No, I'm going with that. No, you need to go with what the Lord say. Guess what? We got to be unmovable in this walk, man. And we building and we teachers of this word and we learners of how we supposed to be. He said if we hear these words and don't do these and don't do it, guess what happens? We gonna fall, man.
Some of us living in this truth, man, living in a paper house.
Real, man.
And great, I was like,
go ahead.
And great was the fall of it.
Say great was the fall of it.
Living in a paper house.
Paper house.
A house with no foundation, man. Always ready, man. That's why we tell a lot of times, man, quit. It's good to go look at other videos and look at other classes. But man, a lot of times, man, if you don't got no foundation, you don't even know how to discern if that brother was just wrong or not. You just writing it down. No, stick with your foundation that you got going. Especially when it's going off these law statutes and commandments. That way, man, when the wind blows, so when that rumor come in, they finna knock you down. When the storm hit, you ain't gonna have that leaky roof. You ain't finna be like this building. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have that foundation on this house, man. We gotta stick with this. And that's how you do it. That's what I'm saying. Don't just get to going. If you listen to this over here, you don't know if it's true. You come back to us. Well, they said, I don't care what they say. Did the Bible say that? That's what we're going to go on.
Let's go back to James chapter 3 and verse 14.
It's the book of James, chapter 3 and verse 14. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your heart.
But if we have bitter, this is going for all Israel, man. If we have bitter envy and strife in our hearts, read.
Glory not, and lie not against the truth.
He said, glory not, man, and lie not against the truth, man. Read on.
The wisdom descended.
The wisdom descended. Read on.
Not from above.
That wisdom that come from above, read.
But it's earthly.
Because that wisdom, that when you see a person that's building an envy, strife in their heart, and he said, don't glory at these things, because these things come from men. It didn't descend from the heavens. It came straight out of a man. But verse 15 says his wisdom descended not from above, but is earthly and sensual and devilish. That's going into the flesh. That's why, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, man. Brothers and sisters had this highlighted too.
The book 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There have no temptation taking you, but such as is coming to man.
And what are the temptations that's coming to man? Envy, strife, bitterness. These are the things that men contend with, man. Read.
But God is faithful.
But the Most High God is the one that's faithful, man. Read.
Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
So when we dealing in those things, the Most High God says, no, I ain't going to let you be tempted above the things that you can be able to be tempted about. Read.
But with the temptation also make a way to escape.
He's going to always make a way for us to escape. But we got to take the escape route. He give us, guess what? People bring something to you. Guess what? He give us opportunity to get out of there. We don't take the opportunity. Guess what we'll do? We'll be caught up in that thing, man.
And this should give you encouragement about a lot of stuff that we come through, man. When the Most High said, I should use this all the time. When I'm going through some stuff, I should always use this scripture. I can say, well, it's got to be something I can handle. No matter how bad it looks, it's got to be something I can handle because he told me he ain't finna have nothing that I can't handle. It ain't going to be nothing that's going to overburden me that I can't handle. And if I can't handle it, there's a back door to get out of it.
Exactly.
It's a way to get out of this situation. And that's a lot of times, man, we don't have to go into depression and all these other things because, first of all, whatever you're going through, your mama died, both of them died, the whole family died yesterday. 12 people died. You should be in a hand of that.
That's right. That's right.
I don't give a dang, man. My car blew up on the way to work. I only got one shoe and a half a sock. You should be able to handle that. You should be able to run down that highway. There's a way out. So anytime you got problems, man, it's supposed to be not to where you panicking. You should be looking for that way out. Or I can handle the things that I'm going through, no matter what. But that's a lot of times is when you doubt like that, they let you know you ain't with the Most High. And that's why a lot of times we panic. Because your mind ain't with the Most High. But when our mind is on the Most High, this is a guarantee. Hey, I don't give a dang what happened. I can handle it.
Why? Why you can handle it? Read that again.
Verse 13. There have no temptation taking you, but such as is coming to man. But God is faithful.
He said the Most High God is faithful, man. Read.
Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
Read.
But will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
Read.
That ye may be able to bear it.
Because he can let you be able to bear these things, man.
And let me just one little thing. Remember when Yahweh shot the temple, what did he use? Scripture. It is written.
The scripture. That's it.
That's all he was going. Yeah. It's written though. It's written though. It's always a way out. A lot of times though, you gotta look for the door. And it's right here in this Bible.
But when you don't, all you know is always two sides to the thing, man. Let's go to Romans, man, 13 and 14, man.
The book of Romans, chapter 13, and verse 14.
Read.
But put ye on the Lord Hamashiach Yahweh.
That's this Bible, man. Read.
And make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
He said, don't make them no provision for the flesh. Because these things that be taken that's common to men, these are things of the flesh. These are the things that's common to men. A person that can't rule their spirit, a person can't rule their tongue. A person, guess what? Got eyes, got itching ears. Guess what? These things is common to men, man. That's why I said, put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, man, and make no provision for the flesh. We are supposed to be making no provision for the flesh. When we make provision for the flesh, this is what happens. You fall into condemnation. Because, matter of fact, go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 33, man. Why? Because this is what the Lord say, man. this is how the Lord feels. This is how the Lord feels about us, man.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33. But God is not the author of confusion.
The Most High God ain't the author of confusion, man. If His word tell us to hold our peace, watch up what we're supposed to be doing in different seasons, guess what? We're supposed to be literally doing these things, man. Read.
But of peace.
But of what?
But of peace.
This is the Lord said He God of peace, man. Read.
As in all churches of the saints.
In all the churches of the saints, man. We are the saints, man. In all the congregations, man. Guess what? We the church, we the saints, we in all these things, man. We did what the Lord is telling us. He told us to be at peace, man. We supposed to be holding our peace. Why? Until the king come back anyway, man. This is something that we supposed to be putting on, man. Let's go back to James, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Book of James chapter 3 and verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
He said the wisdom from above is pure, man. This is how. Let me see if I can find it right. Give me 1 second. Go to Psalm chapter 12 and 6. He said wisdom from above is pure, man.
Book of Psalms chapter 12 verse 6. The words of the Lord are pure words.
He said the words of the Lord are pure words, man. Read.
As silver tried in a furnace of earth. Purified 7 times.
He said the word of the Lord, he said, try it, man. These things purified 7 times. Man. Read.
Thou shalt keep them. O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from the generation forever.
Because guess what? When you got the Lord pure words, man, that's why the Lord said, man, His words is tried and refined, man. His words don't fail. That's why He said He purified it 7 times. You know, man, we get something, they try to get gold, and they purify it once, boy, they'll take that gold and then jack the price up to the moon, man.
Yeah.
Most of God, I purified mine 7 times. Well, you purify gold 7 times, that must be, this bead come out, that must be this bead. Because guess what? But when the Most High God got that much left on it, He know that's good.
Yeah, it's all pure.
It's all pure, man. But guess what? He saw it purified 1 time, and he still got this much left. You ain't knocked that off of him. He just made it look good on camera. Esau.
Got that big gold.
Got that big gold, man. Go back to James, man. 3:17, man.
The book of James chapter 3 verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
He said, guess what? That's what the Most High God, He purified His word before He give it to us, man. He knows it's good. Read.
Then peaceable.
Then what?
Then peaceable.
And then it's peaceable, man. Read on.
Gentle. And easy to be entreated. Full of mercy. And good fruits.
Read.
Without partiality. And without hypocrisy. Hypocrisy.
But it's saying if this wisdom that the Most High God given from above, you got to think. Let's say when we left over where we was at about 3 or 4 years ago, right? Did we leave there in peace or what? We left there in straight peace. We didn't sound the alarms because the captain's leaving. No, we didn't sound no alarms. We left out the door in peace. Brothers had to call us, oh y'all in? But we gone, man. Man, what y'all think? No, we ain't gonna tell you nothing. You do what you need to do. We know our decision, what we make. We know what it is. This ain't partiality. Guess what? That we see that it was sent from above. Why? Because it was in peace. It was in peace from the Most High. It wasn't no hypocrisy, no nothing. Brothers left us, guess what? It was the vision how the Most High God, He said when He separates things, it be in peace. Right? You take it how you want to take it. The scripture say what it say. Show me something different. Give me a better understanding of this thing. These are how we supposed to be thinking. Read verse 17 again.
Verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
So when you get the wisdom from above, it's pure, man. Read on.
Then peaceable.
Say, hey, it's from above, though, right? Because Most High God giving you the understanding of what you're supposed to be doing. in your walk, then it's supposed to be coming from above. It's supposed to be pure and peaceable. Hey, these scriptures say what they say, man. Read.
Gentle.
It's supposed to be gentle, man. Read.
And easy to be entreated.
Should be.
It should be, right?
Should be.
It should be. Hey, tell me something, show me something different, man. I'm always open to get a better answer. God might got this thing wrong. Maybe the wisdom that comes from above might not be that. Give me some understanding of what it's going into. Read that from the top again, huh?
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, being peaceable,
Then it's peaceable.
gentle,
Then it's gentle.
and easy to be
Then
entreated,
it's easy to be entreated.
full of mercy and good fruits,
It's full of mercy and good fruits, man. Read.
without
And
partiality,
it don't be no partiality. Guess what? Scripture say what they say, man.
and without hypocrisy.
And it don't be no hypocrisy in that thing either. Hey, this is what the scripture say, man. Read on up.
And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
And the fruit of righteousness is them that make peace, man. Let's go get a couple more precepts on this thing, man. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 22. I'm gonna get ready and get up out of here, man. We don't make the scriptures up. We just read them. Guess what? Brother, give us a better breakdown. Maybe guess what? Brother, give us a better breakdown. Maybe we can see something better.
And we open to it. We open. If you show us a different understanding and the understanding you have, we open to be able to go, okay, you're right. Right. We got that wrong. We need to change what we do or how we think about that. We need to teach this now.
So, but if it's not, guess what? You even come up with your own words.
No.
We ain't gonna do that. Come with you just talk. No, you can go to the scripture. You're gonna prove all things, man. Read it out.
It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me.
Say, taught me, read.
For in her is Salakia. For in her is an understanding spirit.
Read.
Holy. One only.
One only, read.
Manifold, subtile. Lively. Clear. Undefiled.
It's undefiled, read on.
Plain.
And it's plain, read.
Not subject to hurt.
And not subject to hurt. This is going into wisdom, man, read.
Loving the thing that is good.
So when you get this wisdom from above, all these right here, this matters. Read.
Quick. Which cannot be letted.
Which cannot be letted. Read.
Ready to do good.
Ready to do good. When the Most High God sends the wisdom from above, all these things that wisdom gonna fulfill, man. Read on.
Kind to man. Steadfast.
Read.
Sure. Free from care.
Free from care. Read on.
Having all power. Overseeing all things.
Read.
And going through all understanding.
Read.
Pure and most subtile spirit.
And he said this thing is pure and most subtile spirit, man. Read on.
For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
Wisdom is more moving than any motion, man. Wisdom is more moving than any motion. That's why you think that King Solomon prayed to the Most High. He didn't pray to the Most High for thousands and millions of dollars worth of gold. What he wanted wisdom on how to rule the people, man, in the wise manner, according to the Most High God's will, man. That's what he prayed, bro. He prayed for wisdom, man. Read.
Verse 24 from the top. For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
Read.
Passing and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Wisdom goes through everything by reason of pureness, man. Read.
For she is breath of the power of God.
She is the breath of the power of God. The same breath that he breathed into Adam. Read.
And a pure influence following selected. Influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her.
No defiled thing can fall into wisdom, man. No defiled thing can fall into wisdom, man. It's the breath of the Most High. When he sends the order, that's what's going to happen, man. This is how we're supposed to be thinking in our walk, man. Last precept, man. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 18. No, Proverbs 11 and 18.
Okay. Proverbs 11 and
18. Gotcha.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, and verse 18. The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward.
Because guess what, man? We know how the wicked they're gonna sow. They're gonna sow evil work, or deceitful work. But the righteous, we're gonna sow the righteous work, man, because we want to receive a just reward, man. We don't.
Verse 19, as righteousness tendeth to life, so he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death.
Because just ain't scriptures say how they talk. When you going for righteousness, you know you're striving for life. But when you're going into wickedness, into evil, you know you're going into death, man. Read.
Verse 20, they that are of a forward heart are an abomination to the Lord. But such as are upright in their way are his delight.
So we trying to be a delight in the Most High God, man. This is how we're supposed to be in our walk. Want to be a delight in the Lord, man. Want the Lord to shine down his mercy on us, man. Because we ain't nothing but earth and ashes, man. And the Lord said, why are we proud? Why is earth and ashes proud, man? We don't need to be proud in this walk, man. We expect us to be stand up and be upright with all brothers and sisters in this walk, man. In season, no out of season, man. Say we're going to follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments. We're going to find the law. We always say keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments, so we got to find us a law, man. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19 in verse 31. Brothers and sisters just watching online, all praise to the Most High for you brothers and sisters watching, man. Help us push this truth, man. Brothers and sisters that gave to the call, all praise to the Most High for you brothers and sisters giving to the call. That one of the money won't be used in our own will, but according to how the Most High God will, man. We got a lot of things coming up next month. We got Feast of Tabernacles. We got Day of Atonement. We got Memorial blowing the trumpet, New Moon. There's a lot of things coming in this thing, man. So we got to try to make sure brothers and sisters get their mind prepared. Brothers and sisters watching online. That's what, as a congregation, we're going to be fasting from Tuesday evening to Wednesday evening. We try to help brothers and sisters get their strength, they self strengthened up because the Day of Atonement coming. So if a brother and sister not fasting and praying during that time, guess what? Their soul is going to be cut off. So we got to make sure that brothers and sisters fasting.
Yeah, and get used to it now because that day right there ain't no excuse.
Right. No excuse for this.
Oh, I slipped up.
No. Well, my baby ain't number 4 or 5. No. If they Israel, they Israel. Take it how you want to take it. Like the scripture say what it say, get what? Well, I got diabetes, I'm insulin. Guess what? We know a lot of people that was diabetes. Guess what? It's on all kind of insulin, and they did it, and it was just fine during that day because they trusted in the Most High, man.
Most High said it already. They ain't gonna give you no burden that you can't handle.
He ain't. Just read it.
They ain't gonna put nothing on you can't handle.
Read it up.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits.
Read.
Neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God.
Because there's a lot of people that do witchcraft in this walk, man. And how you do witchcraft? By breaking God's laws, man. And with that, I'll say shalom.